If you've been learning French for months or even years and still freeze up in conversations, if you've tried multiple apps and courses but can't seem to actually speak, or if you're starting to think you're just bad at languages, then you need to hear this. Tell me, do any of these sound familiar? Just use Duolingo 30 minutes a day. Buy this amazing French course. Just move to France and you'll pick it up naturally. Do they? Here's the truth. I wasted 2 years following advice that everyone swears by. And if you're still struggling to speak French despite doing all the right things, this entire video is going to be a wake-up call. Today, I'm exposing the 4 most popular French learning methods that are actually keeping you stuck. Plus, I'll tell you exactly what to do instead to finally start speaking confidently, including the one method that 80% of French learners are using that actually makes you worse at conversations. This is part 3 of my 6-part Real French Fluency series. If you missed part 1 and 2, where I showed you how to train your brain to think in French, and my SMART method for practicing without French friends, I'll link those below in the description box so you can catch up. Today, I'm exposing the faux methods, and yes, that's exactly F-A-U-X, which literally means false in French. How perfect is that? Let's dive into why these popular methods are keeping you stuck. Here is what's frustrating. The French learning industry is full of advice that sounds logical, but doesn't actually work. These methods keep you busy, not fluent. You spend months feeling productive, completing lessons, earning points, memorizing vocab, but when it's time to have a real conversation, you freeze. I'm going to break down the faux methods that are wasting your time and energy. Faux stands for F, flashcards only, A, apps as your main method, U, unstructured immersion, X, expensive courses without practice. Let me explain why each one fails you and failed me. Method 1, the flashcards only. Remember what I said the F stands for? Yes, the F in faux stands for flashcards only. Please don't get me wrong, flashcards aren't evil, but if they're your main study method, then my friend, you're in trouble. Let me tell you why everyone recommends it and why they recommended it to me as well. Just memorize 2,000 common French words and you'll be fluent. Let me just stop you right there. And just tell you why this does not work. You learn words in isolation, not in context. You memorize translations, not meanings. You can't form sentences or even express thoughts. And the fourth one, you forget words because they have no emotional connection. I once met someone who knew about 3,000 words from flashcards, but couldn't order coffee in Paris. Like, really? Knowing words over speaking French is a no-no for me. Here's what to do instead. Learn phrases and sentence patterns. Instead of just memorizing the word manger, which means to eat in isolation, instead learn j'ai envie de manger quelque chose de léger. Do you see? This is different because you're actually learning in context. Let's look at more examples. Instead of just learning the word travailler, which means to work, instead you can learn je me prépare à aller au travail maintenant. Or instead of learning just parler, which means to speak, instead you can learn j'ai parlé avec ma mère hier et elle était contente. Do you see the difference? But wait, let's look at one more. Instead of just learning, maybe let me say aimer, which means to like. You can use this sentence starter. For example, you can say ce que j'aime c'est whatever it is. Do you get? Ce que j'aime c'est regarder des films français. Do you see? You've actually used a sentence starter, not just what is adore. Adore means to love. What is aimer? Aimer means to like. You have to learn it in context. It helps you. These sentence starters are gold because you can plug in different endings and immediately sound more natural. This connects to what I taught you in my SMART method video because you need context and real-life application. Now, let's take a look at the next method. Remember what did I say the A in faux stands for? Exactly, using apps as your main method. Duolingo, Babbel, Busuu. It's pronounced Busuu, right? I've tried them all. They are great for getting started, but they can't get you to fluency. When I first started learning French, people tell me, oh, just do 30 minutes a day and you'll be conversational in 6 months. Just open the app, practice it daily. It didn't work. It didn't work. And let me tell you why it doesn't work. First of all, gamification makes you addicted to points, not learning. Number 2, I also found that the sentences are often weird and not usable, like the duck wears a hat. Wearing a hat to wear. Are we learning about Donald Duck? Number 3, there's sometimes no real conversation practice. Number 4, you become dependent on multiple choice answers. That was what was, it was just messing up my brain. And number 5, the progress feels fake. You're not actually ready for real French. The harsh truth is this, guys. Apps are designed to keep you engaged, not to make you fluent. They make money when you stay subscribed for months, not when you actually succeed. But wait, before you say, okay, no, someone said this isn't working, delete, before you go ahead and take your phone and delete all the apps, hold on. Here is what to do instead. Use apps as a supplement. Spend 80% of your time on actual speaking practice, like the methods I showed you in my previous video about practicing without French friends. Let's take a look at the next method. What did I say the U in FEU stands for? Exactly, Unstructured Immersion. I'm sure you've heard of these before. Just watch French Netflix. Listen to French podcasts all day. Change your phone to French. This is your phone. Change it to French. Change it to French. You've heard all these, right? This is sometimes why people recommend this because they'll tell you this is how babies learn languages naturally, right? But here's why it doesn't work sometimes. You're not a baby, first of all, and your brain works differently now. Secondly, without structure, you're just hearing noise. Okay? Sometimes you also find that you develop bad habits and pronunciation. And what happens after that? You get frustrated and you give up. And the worst part is this. You understand passively, but you cannot produce actively because it's just there as background noise. Let me explain that last point with a real personal example, as an example of mine. I spent about a month or 2 watching this amazing series with French subtitles. I could follow the plot, even understand the emotion and even laughing at the jokes. I honestly felt like I was making amazing progress, guys. But then I tried to tell my French friend about the movie I had watched, like this series I was watching, right? I knew what I wanted to say in my head, but then I realized I couldn't even form the sentences. I understood everything that had happened in 10%, but I couldn't even say a simple sentence as J'ai regardé un film hier soir without stuttering. And that's when I realized there was a problem. Here's the difference. Passive understanding, your brain recognizes French when you hear it, right? But active speaking, your brain can create French when you need it. Think of it like this. You can probably understand a recipe when you read it. So there's a recipe here, you pick it up. When you read it, you actually understand it, right? But that doesn't mean you can cook the dish from memory. Understanding French and speaking French use completely different mental muscles. So here's what to do instead, because I don't want to seem just like the bad guy, like, oh my God, tomorrow you say no, it's not working. Here's what to do instead. Use structured immersion. Pick content slightly above your level. Focus on specific phrases you want to learn. Pause and repeat what you hear. Remember the M method that I taught you in my SMART method? Mimic content, exactly. And practice using what you learn in your own sentences. For example, instead of just watching a French cooking show, pick 3 phrases from it like Ajoutez une pincée de sel, mélangez bien, laissez cuire pendant 5 minutes. Practice saying them out loud, then actually use them when cooking at home. If it's going to take you 20 minutes to cook, like maybe they say instead, let it cook for 20 minutes, simply say laissez cuire pendant 20 minutes. You get? You're practicing using these phrases. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all this information, please do not worry, okay? I have created a free PDF that breaks down the right way to learn French step by step. All you need to do is input your name and email address in the link in the description box below, and today's PDF will be sent directly to your inbox. Grab it in the description box below. It will save you from making these same mistakes that I made as well. And now the next method, expensive immersion programs. I know expensive starts with E, but technically we say expensive, so just think of it as X. I'm very sure every single person has heard this before. Travel to France for 1 week and you'll speak the language, right? Or this 3,000 immersion program will make you fluent in 10 days. Or something like learn French like a diplomat with this exclusive retreat. Really? I'm so sure you've heard of any of these. Here is why everyone falls for it. Because they have these fancy marketing with beautiful photos of French chateau, right? There's also the promise of shortcuts and instant results. Or it even makes you feel like you're treating yourself to something special. And lastly, testimonials from people in picturesque French settings. This is why none of them work. 1 week isn't enough time to build real speaking skills. You spend most of the time with other English speakers in your group. Sometimes you're even too overwhelmed by the travel stress to actually focus on learning. And other times, there's even no follow-up system when you return. And lastly, you pay thousands for what you could practice for free using structured methods. I know someone who spent about 2,800 on a French immersion week in Provence. She came back with amazing photos, amazing, I'm actually being honest, some souvenir vocabulary, and the same inability to have conversations she had before she left. Meanwhile, her friend who stayed home and practiced consistently using structured methods was having real French conversations by the time she returned. I can't make this up, guys. I really can't make this up. So here is what to do instead, please. Create your own immersion at home using structured practice. Use the SMART method I taught you in my previous video to practice daily. Then when you do travel to France, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, or any Francophone country someday, you actually be ready to use the language confidently. So after all is said and done, you're probably thinking, okay, Sumo, so tell us, what actually works? You've told us the F, the A, the U, the X, what actually works? Instead of these 4 methods, I would love for you to focus on the 3 pillars of real French fluency. Number 1, think in French first. This is what I taught you in the first video of this series. That is to train your brain to skip the English translation step. Number 2, please practice speaking daily. Use my SMART method from the previous video to practice even without French friends. And number 3, learn in context. Please focus on phrases and situations you actually use and not just random vocabulary lists. The real secret to learning French, guys, is there is no magic method or shortcut. Fluency comes from consistent, focused practice using the right techniques. And so the bottom line is this: please stop falling for full methods that keep you busy, not fluent, and instead focus on what actually works. Thinking in French, practicing speaking daily, and learning in context. So here is my homework for you today. Look at your current French learning routine. Which 4 methods are you using? Please pick one, just one, to eliminate this week and replace it with something from my SMART method. Do not forget to download my free PDF guide. It has the real French learning method that actually leads to fluency. No 4 methods included. You will get clear step-by-step guidance that saves you from wasting months on methods that don't work. If this fantastic video opened your eyes about French learning myths, please hit the like button and let me also know in the comments, which 4 method are you guilty of using? Also, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because this is part 3 of my real French fluency series, and I promise you don't want to miss what's coming next. Speaking of which, in my next video, I'm going to show you how to learn French when you're busy. I will give you a realistic system that works, even if you have only 15 minutes a day. I'll see you in my next video. Bonne journée!